What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got a special client interview today with my boy Peyton. Peyton had a ton of success in the program, still in it, and wanted to give him the opportunity to kind of share his story. And yeah, without further ado, Peyton, thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I started the program in April, had some crazy results. I had been thinking about online training for, 6 months leading up to this. I saw Nick on Instagram, spent a lot of time on there and YouTube and seeing everything he had going. Definitely reached out to a couple of his coaches that work with him and you know, loved what I saw. I uh, I thought that there was no better time than now to learn from somebody who had already done it. Like I said, I was thinking about it for 6 months, just wasting time. What it seems like now, anyways. I was in the cages for 50, 60 hours and a week, just trying to make ends meet, doing lessons, and I guess I just want to learn how exactly to do remote training. I didn't really know where to start.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Well, dude, I appreciate you so much. You know, trusting me, especially. I think you said something interesting. How you said you were trying to do it for 6 months and like didn't really make any headway. Like, what did that look like?
yeah, so I finished up my college baseball career, I guess about a year ago now, and then started working a corporate job probably 2 or 3 months after that. Um, and then in order to make some extra money and just staying involved in the game, like I said, I was giving lessons 50, 60 hours a week. I had a ton of clients. Um, I think the biggest thing for me was I couldn't fit all of them in. And I just think the hardest part was spending those 6 months like getting on my computer, writing up ideas. I had a ton of ideas. There was like a million different things that, I thought I should be doing or could do. It was more of like how exactly to implement that and what it would look like to take all 70, I guess 70 athletes that I had at the time and introduce something that they've never seen before. Um, so I guess, I only saw those kids for maybe an hour a month. And what I realized is they would come back into me with the same problem they had the week before. And then they spend all summer playing games, spend all fall playing their seasons, and then they come back to me in the winter and haven't made much progress. So I felt like I was repeating the same thing over and over, just trying to get them to actually take that next step. Um, so personally, I thought, giving them something to do at home every single night would be really good for them. I just didn't necessarily know how to do it, how to actually create something for them to follow. And then, I had thought before, like, if I did something online, I'd be able to take in more athletes than what I already have, which was my goal. Because, in our brains, more athletes, more money, but then our time gets cut down. So I'd be in the cage till about 9:30 every single night, wake up at 5, go to work, and then do it all over again for 6, 7 days a week. And I'm just ran down completely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough, dude. And I think that's, it's something that a lot of coaches out there struggle with is like, more athletes equals more time, right? So maybe talk a little bit about the mental shift that you had to be able to handle more athletes for less time.
Yeah, so I guess mentally right now, I feel a lot more rejuvenated when I actually do work with my athletes because I'm sure there's coaches out there that have done the 6 to 7 hour cage session where, the lesson ends at 6:29 and you're picking up baseballs, getting right into the next kid. Um, I know that can be super draining. I guess like, going from a kid who's 17 years old trying to make a college commitment to then working with a 9-year old. it just takes a lot of mental capacity to be able to switch that. Um, but with an online platform, I'm able to actually individualize and make specialized programs for each of these athletes, so I don't have to talk to everybody. I mean, so I'm able to talk to everybody in their own way, like a way that makes sense for them. Um, I mean, and since joining the program, I've cut down from 60 hours a week in person to 15 tops per week. I think it's allowed me to do a lot of other things that I felt like I was missing out on, like coaching a college summer team right now, which is what I'm doing. I wouldn't have been able to do that, a couple months ago before I started the program. And then I guess financially, getting into that, I thought that being in that cage, that same cage for, 6 hours a night was the only way that I could make ends meet. And like, if I didn't have that money coming in every single day and every week at the end of the week, like I wouldn't be able to survive. But I mean, now that I do it online, I'm able to do all of those things, but I mean, better, better, like just way better, and give, more quality for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome because I think one of the biggest questions that people have is, the online training isn't beneficial to their athletes. So what do you have to say to those people that believe online training isn't beneficial to their athletes?
I think that people get that idea based on, things they've seen, like maybe certain companies just like, I don't know, just other coaches emailing or sending a text of, hey, I want you to do this every single night. And then, we know behind the scenes that coach is just taking everything they had from their lesson and just sending it to them and telling them to do it more. Um, which you can send the same text to all 70 athletes, but that's not really giving them a lot of value. Um, and with the time I've been able to create by doing this all online, like now I actually have time to make those individualized programs and actually give them, more quality and actually see more results.
Definitely,
So yeah, that's where I'm at for sure.
definitely. Um, Something I kind of want to touch on is you said you've been trying to do this on your own for 6 months. How long did it take you to get an online program up, and what were the results?
So I joined the program probably mid-April. I spent a couple hours a day, maybe, just diving into everything that, you gave me, all the resources, information, access to every other coach who's been doing this, like when I got into the program, I had to make that mental shift of, hey, I'm not going to be the smartest guy in the room because there's other people in here who have had great success. I mean, Nick being the leader of that, like he had great success doing this. So he wants to help other coaches do the exact same thing that he did. Um, you know, I just think that I spent those 6 months just looking at things and coming up with ideas and just had no real way to actually implement it, market it at all. Like I only had access to the people in my small town that I was already working with. Um, and then, I was taught a million different things about how to reach more. And um, I think the biggest thing for me was how exactly to create an online program. Definitely. Because I would say, hey, like during my lessons, like, hey, the stuff we did today, you should be doing every single day. But like, what 14 to 17-year-old or even 10-year-old is going to actually do that? Because it doesn't really mean anything to them. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
No, and I think it's something that I see all the time where people are like, "Oh, I'm going to figure this out on my own. Like I just need to plan more. I just need more things out on paper." And you're laughing because that's how you were too. Oh, I just need to get my ideas together, right? I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
I need to get my
I
ideas together.
yeah,
Go
I talked to Nick in the DMs for probably a month, just like, hey, like before I join, I just need to get my ideas together. Like I was just spinning tires. I was doing the same thing I was doing 6 months before that. Just like, but once I was like, hey, I'm gonna learn from somebody who's actually done it and had great success, something that I want. Like I know I have value to give. I just didn't know exactly how to do it. Um, once I was just like, hey, I'm just gonna dive in and learn from somebody who's done it before. Like for me, it was easy because as coaches, all of us are hardworking. We want results. We want to give our athletes, great success stories, help them out with that, be a part of their journey. Um, just I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you have a pretty good idea of how to do it now. You made a decent amount of money in that first 30 days. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, so some of my experience was I went from about 60 hours a week in the cage to now spending like 15 tops, if that. I was able to transition a lot of my already athletes that I had into a more hybrid based program. Um, say I was bringing in, $1,000 a week, after facility fees, charges, and all that stuff. I was probably 3,500, 3 grand a month, which was great. I thought this is awesome. This is what I need to continue to survive and do the things I want to do. But I was sacrificing so much time to do that. So the income I was making, on top of my job that I already had was it's kind of meaningless because I didn't really get to do anything with that. I was just waiting for the next day to see how much more money I could just, you know, put in I guess in a bag, if you want to say, like rat hole a bunch of money. As soon as I transferred to online, got in Nick's program, I made 23K in the first 30 days.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the most important part was give more value to my athletes, continue to change their lives. And, ultimately it ended up changing mine. Um, like the things I'm able to do now that I couldn't do a couple months ago. Like, it's Thursday night and I knew I was going to be in the cage till 9:30 that night and have to wake up at 5 a.m. on Friday. Like I don't have to do that. Like I could, but like I'm already giving more value and giving my athletes everything they want. So it's just really freed things up for me.
Yeah.
For example, like, talking to Nick right now, like a couple months ago, I'd probably be like, oh man, like when can I schedule a cage? Because I need to go like make some more money. But like I know right now my athletes are following their program because, they're marking it off and sending me stuff. Like I know they're getting better. So that's one thing that as coaches, like that I've realized now that I didn't know before is that like with them being online, they're actually getting better. Like they're not going to come back to me next week with the same bad habits that they had before. Ultimately, makes my job easier, better, and it gets them better. And as a coach, I want these kids to have success. That's why I do this whole thing. I can actually see them grow. Seen a lot more growth.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Um, Last thing, and then I'll let you have your day, dude. What would you say to anybody who's maybe on the fence right now, maybe a little bit afraid to invest?
I think looking back, I wasted 6 months of additional income and just time freedom. I made the same amount I was making those 6 months when like I said, first 30 days, 23K in the program. If I had been doing that for the 6 months previously, I would be so much further ahead right now. Because if the first month I did 23K and then I continue to get better, reach a larger audience, like maybe the second 30 days was 25, maybe the next 30 is 30. So, there's no better time than now to really get rolling with this whole thing. Like I wish I had done this since when I started playing. I could have done it through college. Um, because then now I'd be really locked in on what I'm doing. So, I mean, like I said, as coaches, we all work hard. We want to give them results. It's just we got to do it now if like we really want that. And I wish I didn't spend those 2 extra weeks telling Nick like, "Hey, I need to get stuff together." Like those are 2 more weeks I could have been rolling with this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, dude, it's been awesome to watch your progression. I appreciate you jumping on. And if you're still watching this and you're a coach and you want to learn how you can make $23,000 in 30 days coaching sports, booking a call with us down below, booking a call with the team, walk through your situation, see if you're the right fit. If you are, we can get you enrolled right there on that call. But Peyton, I appreciate your time, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.